I'm muted. I've been talking. So welcome everybody. Gemma's probably laughing her ass off right now. I cussed. Anyways, sorry about that. I forgot about the switch on the headset. So good evening everybody. Thank you for showing up and welcome to my mini caves, chambers in the caves. This one's messing with my headset. Anyways, like I was saying when I realized when I was politely told I was muted that what I'll do is just I may give some details, some a little more sorry about that, a little more details about the demon encounter. I think what I need to do is go back and find out what uh, enc- what listener encounters Gemma did and what episode it was, so I can put it up there so people can go back and listen to her tell the story. Oh, you checked your phone before you went to bed. Well, hello, Ralph. I'll say hi while I'm rambling. I see Vixen Doze here, Ralph, Smoochie, Nightmare. Hey, what's up, bud? Slow motion. Ted Branson. Hey, I can't believe you're awake either. I'm always awake. I don't sleep. Um, Baby UFO. Hello, Shelly. Eris, you still sneaking around in here somewhere? Yeah, I'm just hanging. I'll tell some counters. If people got questions, I'll answer them. Do my best. Like I said, we're just going to kind of go with the flow. When I was muted, I was saying all this. And then once I get back home, which is hopefully soon, when I can have access to my research and my notes for over the years, where maybe touch more on topics and stuff, and I can present stuff. So we're just gonna ramble a little bit here for a little bit longer, like I try to do, like Gemma does when she starts her streams. Kind of get the flow going. I miss her when she's not sitting beside me rambling. It's kind of weird sometimes. Last week was really weird not having her around. So what's everybody saying? I love caves too, Smoochie. I have a fascination with. I also like really high places. I'm one of those guys not afraid to go to the top and look over. Um, but I've seen some pretty cool caves um, here in Ohio. I haven't been too much. I think the only places other than I, when I was younger, I went to Japan and let's see, been to Colorado a couple times, Florida, Jersey, um, Michigan. Uh, that's pretty much about it. The ex had friends in, I believe, Tennessee, so I stayed there a little bit. Like Tennessee, it's kind of nice. Been to the top of the Sears Tower? No, but I would love to. Yeah, there are some really cool stuff down in Kentucky, Tennessee, all along the Appalachian Mountains. There's some caves in there that I understand. Um, I believe some of my dad's folks and mom's folks, well, most of my mom's folks were from the Appalachian Mountains, came in through there. Um, oh, you have? Oh, okay. I bet that's a good site. Um, I'm that guy that goes to the Eiffel Tower at Kings Island and will go to the top and ask if I can go any higher. I think the highest place I was, we were in Colorado in Estes Park. And yes, I have been to the Stanley Hotel. Went there for our honeymoon and actually stayed in, was it room 312, whatever it was. Yeah, she didn't like it. We heard all kinds of crazy noises. She made made us switch rooms, but it was cool. I loved staying in the hotel. It was cool. Her grandparents had a home right there in that town. It was awesome. Yeah, Gemma's for Jersey. I've been there. I went sorry, remember? Jersey was all right, just like Ohio. Crazier drivers, though. Hey, Mongolian monster. Long time no see, bud. Nice to see you. Really is. I haven't been able to ghost channels too much lately. I don't know if you knew, but I had a house fire and I'm living in a hotel right now. We'll hopefully be home soon. Oh, you been to the. Have you been to Colorado? Is that what you were saying? Yeah, Stanley Hotel's so cool. Um, but we went to Bear Lake, and I believe it's called Bear Lake. But it looks like when you see it from above, it literally looks like a bear put its paw right down in the middle of mountains and made a lake. Thank you, sir. No, we're good. Everybody's good. We've been living here for like this will be at the end of this month would be 4 months. We've been here. Um, Dad's hate. My dad is 90 years old. Hey, New England. Well, thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it, bud. Did you hear about your stone on the way? Right. Hey, Pammy. Um, but yeah, it was a garage fire. It was an electrical fire during the end of December, right after Christmas, and it kind of sucked. But we're good. Everybody survived. My 90-year-old dad, man, he kicks butt. So he just hates being in his hotel. He's ready to go home. So how you doing, sir? You still running the channel? Like I said, I haven't been able to do much of anything. If I'm not streaming with Gemma or I'm running. Yeah. Gemma sent this to me. Unfortunately, when I went, it was winter, so we didn't get to go. She loves that place for some reason. I'll know when I get there. But thank you, Pammy. So nice of you. That was really nice of you. Thank you so much. Every bit counts. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a little time like I did last time, and just kind of flow with it for a bit here before I start telling stories. Let some people come in. Actually, I'm surprised I have 12 people already. That's cool. I really appreciate that. And I'll take questions, of course. I've seen some weird stuff. I saw some good stuff today just running around. It's every day for me. So, anybody got anything interesting going on? While I'm sitting here reading chat and letting kind of give some time in. Hey, baby UFO. Yep, 9 house. Gemstones, 9 house, and dragons. You're all welcome. But yeah, we'll talk about Stanley Hotel a little bit while we're waiting. Yeah, I really like the place. It was neat because my ex's grandfather was an ex-colonel. He retired there, um, but he had a home there before he retired, and they had a flood in Estes Park. A lot of probably been there, know about it. And he was the one that helped build the new water plant there. And everywhere we went, all we had to do was say, "Oh, she's his granddaughter," and we were treated like kings and queens. It was nice. I'd never had that treatment before, but it was cool. We walked around the hotel. They showed us around. We stayed 2 nights. The first night was kind of creepy. The second night was not so much, but paranormal activity happens when it wants to happen, and it always seems to happen at the least. Sometimes you get lucky and you finally see something right off the road, but it's not always the case. But the first night there, she did not want to stay in that room. We were hearing all kinds of weird stuff. Oh, food poisoning, man. Bleh. I've had that before. We got Boston Market once. Everybody got sick in the family. But yeah, it was awful. But yeah, we stayed that night, and well, she kept every time she said every time she kept going to the bathroom, it sounded like somebody was talking to her. I was like, really? She goes, yeah. She goes, hey, go just go in there and sit. So I went in there and said nothing happened. But later that night, the bathroom door kept opening and closing. So, but yeah, so she called the office that night and said, we'd like to move rooms. And this was like at 3 o'clock. She goes, oh, sure. You're not the first. So they put us down a hall. Actually, the second room was a lot nicer than that room. Yeah, it sucks when you're sick all day. Yeah, Smoochy, there are caves where you wouldn't think there are caves. So a lot of people think that those sky noises they hear, that people hear, are them actually drilling tunnels, which is could be possible because when you start drilling that deep, you cause friction, and it kind of triggers everything, because it's all connected. Like how you have skylights and certain noises before earthquakes or volcanoes. Same principle. Yeah, I don't try to talk fancy. I have a hard enough time sometimes talking. But I think if anybody want to have any suggestions, and we can go from there. If not, I'll just start I'll tell you some of the things I've seen over the years, and then try to, by the end of the time I get off, hopefully I'll talk a little more about my demon encounter. I keep forgetting to write down what episode is. So next time I post that I'm going to stream, you guys can go watch that episode where Gemma reads the encounter to you guys. Because, yeah, that was that and the Hat Man. The Hat Man, I'll never forget. I'll never forget the smile. Because that's all there was. Hold on one sec. Tree allergies. It's like it rained here for 2 days now. Everything's nice and toasty, and I'll tell you what, tree pollen's killer this year. I'm surprised I'm awake. I am too, Andrew. Thank you for showing up, man. Where you at? One night when you're free, I'd like to have you on here because some of the best stories I've heard are from truckers. My dad was a mechanic for Wonder Bread. In his earlier years, he'd get stuck going out on calls to help semis. I'd go with him to keep him company. Some of the stories I heard, some of those stories were so awesome. Oh, really? In Ohio and Pennsylvania lines? I believe it. People say Ohio's boring and people boring. Man, there's some creepy stuff that goes on here. But then again, you really can't say they're a state or a country that doesn't have creepy stuff. It's everywhere. Oh, I'm sure you have, Andrew. I'm sure you've seen a lot. Yeah, I'd like to do a stream where I'm just talking to truckers because I'm telling you, some of the best stories I've heard are from truckers. Um, I knew a guy that actually used to be a door-to-door salesman for Hoover. Believe it or not, for Hoover vacuums, and some of the stories he told me were just crazy. And maybe one night I'll tell you some of those because some of those I actually have written down in a journal that are packed away. I'll have to wait till I get home to do that. It's boring here in Ohio. Nah, not really. I've been all over the place, Pam. I have fun in Ohio. I like Ohio. But then again, if you lived in anywhere else, you'd probably say the same thing. Oh, I'm bored. Nothing creepy in Vermont. I find that hard to believe. I really do. Oh, the moon. Yeah, it is a full moon tonight, isn't it? What moon is this tonight? I don't want to click off my screen. Hold on, let me find out what our moon is tonight. I can do that real easy. Let me see. Da 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 dum. Shoot. I'm probably on the wrong side, like I always am. Yes, I am. Okay. Hey, Ted, how you doing? Property. Where you at, Ted? It is. Oh well, it's 12:17 here. Flower moon. Oh, that's right. Mike, if you're listening, I saw your text. Better get your butt in here. A whining Gibson phase. Yep. I just pulled it up on the phone. Everybody's doing the same. So let's see. Well, since we're talking about Stanley Hotel, or since I was talking about Stanley Hotel, um, yeah, it's a full moon. It is a full moon. That I know. I don't think it's a fate. Yeah. If I said if I was ever going to run away, I really didn't know where. Vermont. You know, is Vermont as nice as they say it is? But everywhere I go is beautiful. Oh, Scotland. Holy crap. Well, hello. I always wanted to go to Scotland. Actually, I want to go back to Japan. I loved Japan, especially country Japan and out in the country. Oh, in 1800? Well, I bet that was interesting. Were you reliving a past life, Smoochie? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Have you seen, but, talking about mirrors, has anybody seen the movie Mirrors with Keith Sutherland? I always did like that movie. That's a good movie. And the second one's not bad either. You're bad, Smoochie. Smoke break. Yeah, I'll probably have one. I'm a little stressed. I smoke when I'm stressed. Well, we're getting close to being home, but let's get into some stories. Come to Ireland. You won't be disappointed. My mom has Irish heritage, but the bulk of our heritage is Norwegian. I was mistaken. But we were Vikings. It was pretty cool when I found out. Oh, really? You have? That's kind of cool. I'm going to Pompeii. Oh, excuse me, folks. Yeah. I'm a Nord. Hey, all right. Yeah. And when we came over in here, I guess we kind of mixed up with the other pups. So, but I believe most of my heritage come from is Norwegian. Pompeii probably is amazing. Actually, what I found breathtaking for me next to Colorado, because I really haven't been anywhere else to compare, when I went to Japan and standing by and being around Mount Fuji was pretty kind of awesome. We went to the Suicide Forest. I don't think I can say that, but I hope I don't get in trouble. But that was creepy. My cousins who I was with wouldn't even go in. I went in a little bit. It's a weird vibe there. Yep, Dublin. Hey, yeah. So we have somebody from Scotland. We have somebody from Ireland. I know we have a couple of people from Ohio. Margolian, where you at now? My last name would be a dead giveaway. I've been trying to find out our original last name. I believe Bowen and Davis was given to them when they came here. Haunted by Haunted. Hello and welcome. Glad you can join us. I'm kind of getting used to this, midnight show. I kind of like it because I can pretty much go as long as I want. The drunk captain. Yeah. My mom would probably say the same thing. Hi, Vera Ray. How are you doing, hon? I know you're in Oklahoma. But I'll tell you, I would go back to the Shining. The second time we went, we didn't get to stay, but they took us down along the employee walkway, the walk-ins down there where you walk through the tunnels. Now, those are kind of creepy. I got some weird vibes there, but it's weird because I usually see something everywhere I go. And that was the one place. I guess probably because I was looking for it too hard. Sometimes I feel if I look too hard, I don't see it. Now today, I went into a tobacco store to get Pop some cigars, and the guy that was running the counter, he had something standing behind him. Now I told. I said, "Do you know you got something standing behind me? Because I felt weird all day. Because we had a relative pass away a long time ago, a few months ago, and I have felt like he's been with me. I don't know if it's him, but you definitely have something standing behind you. Sometimes I can't tell. I can tell if it's human or if it's good or bad. And there's some I can't make out what they are. And lately I've seen some pretty messed up stuff. Like that thing that was attached to the lady back I saw last week. Followed a black-eyed kid around in a hospital for 20 minutes before I lost him in an area I couldn't go in. Hello, Vixen, though, Miss Junior Bacon. Thank you for coming, hon. Oh, really? Did you really? That's a pretty cool replica of a ship. I've seen pictures of it. That's pretty cool. I'm glad people are showing up. If you guys want me to tell stories about when all this started, I can do that. Or I can, talk about things that led up to the demon encounter. I just save that so I can give you guys like a day or two so you could watch her video on it. Give her some extra view. But I did a pretty good job writing that one. I'm not much of a writer, but that one turned out really good because that's an important story to me. So was the Hat Man. But yeah, people didn't know I do see black-eyed kids in hospitals, don't I? And doctors' offices all the freaking time. I didn't see him for a while, and then I saw him last week. Last week, not too long ago, and I literally followed him around for 20 minutes. I couldn't get close to him for some reason. I could never get real close to him, but I followed him. The same one I see all the time. Sometimes he's with one kid or another kid that seemed to be younger him. I'm glad to see the love being thrown around in this room. That's cool. Thank you. Now yesterday I didn't do much, but I ran to the gas station. See, there's usually not a day that I don't see something. And a lot of times it's just shadows following other people. And it's, some I can tell, oh, this person's probably having a bad time because the shadow is giving me off bad vibes. Probably not human. An attachment of some type. Yes, she does. Actually, that's a good one, too. Now, yes, I have seen a white-eyed girl. Yep, I have seen her. I saw her in a hospital too. That was not a good experience. It wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't scary. She just kind of creeped me out because when I first saw her, I thought that she was just a blind girl. And when I realized she was looking back, that was creepy. And she was wearing a party dress, like a pink and blue party dress, if I remember right. I can't forget her face. It was pale white. She had curly, not black hair, but curly blonde hair and white eyes, solid white. And she was standing in front of her room. She later that night when I tried to ask the nurse if I was going nuts, she goes, "I don't see nothing. You must be going nuts." And later at night, I had a feeling that someone was watching me. Stood out. She was standing outside my door. I could barely see like half her. She was just standing like this, or just like she was looking around the corner. And I heard her say, "You weren't supposed to see me. You'll never see me again." And I have never seen her again. And that was probably a few years back. Behold, hey Mike, how you doing, sir? Mike J. Now we need my car. And somebody throw a chair at him. But yeah, that was that encounter. I was in the hospital for a visit. I got stuck there for the night. It wasn't a good thing. Uh, that whole day was weird. She was actually standing in front of another room, just like the black eyed kids. And with the black eyed kid, sometimes I get a vibe, sometimes I don't. But it's usually just kind of nothingness. It's just kind of a, okay, what are you doing? Why are you here? Kind of thing. With her, it was kind of a really, I wouldn't say scary vibe. It was a very uneasy vibe. It was like I knew I was seeing something I wasn't supposed to see, and I could feel it. And she made sure, later on, like I said, she made sure I knew it too. Um, Her voice, when she spoke, sounded like a child who was grinding its teeth. It was just, and it was a little girly. So, but it didn't. I mean, it didn't scare me. It just gave me the uneasiness. Um, and thank gosh I got to leave the hospital next day because I didn't want to see anymore. Um, the biggest things I do see in hospitals is usually like when I walk by rooms and I'll see families together. I'll see somebody standing or a shadow standing there. It's usually I can usually tell it's a family member. Um, when I go down around the common areas, where they're waiting area in the common areas when you go in the hospital lobby, and there's usually people with something standing behind them, and you can usually tell it's a family or a family member. I did have this a while, about 4 years, 5 years ago. It's cold there. Actually, we have been cold here. Um, Up until the last 2 days, we've been warming back up, but rain's supposed to move back in, then we chill again. This has been a weird May. I mean, poor Michigan, I believe, got 30 inches of snow just a couple days ago. So, uh, but I had this doctor appointment with a neurologist, and he was a really nice guy. But there was and I know it was a female shot. I knew it was a female. Was this thing was following him, and I could tell it was a female, and she was putting off a very sad, depressing vibe. He seemed like a really nice guy, but he was kind of a, I don't want to say sober kind of a guy who didn't show much expression. And through the whole appointment, she would stay. That shadow, this thing would, and I knew it was a female, would stand almost right behind him, like she was almost stuck there. So I don't know if it was an attachment or if it was somebody he knew. You don't ask questions anymore because you get some. Sometimes you get good reactions, but most of the times you get the look. Hey Nick, how you doing, bud? Jamie, welcome. Um, but I felt bad for the guy. By the time I left the appointment, I actually felt kind of sad for him. I don't know why, but I'm thinking something maybe sad. Maybe it was a child or something. See, unlike Gemma, I I I I can't talk to him. I can see shadows. Sometimes I see what it is at work, doing as little as possible. Hey, you can get away with that. You can do it. But I did. I kind of felt bad for him. Um, when I left for some reason, I was kind of, for about an hour afterwards, I was kind of sad. I knew what it was. I just couldn't figure it out. Now, see, that's one thing about Gemma that's different, is she can converse in a way. I don't do that. Um, I was told not to. I had to actually stop ghost hunting because I was told don't to do it. Not you. I said, why? And they go, well, that's because a lot of them don't know you can see them and you want to keep it that way. You're an observer, you're a watcher. You're supposed to kind of take in the information. Because believe me, one person actually told me, believe it or not, you may not realize it, but they are giving you information, and sooner or later that information will come out. You know, there's people like that. My dad, slow motion, go years without seeing. And the funny thing is, you say that, but how do you know you didn't? Because sometimes you don't realize you did. My dad grew up in Chillicothe, around the Tecumseh Mountains, all those all that wooded area. Um, Now, see, he believes in UFOs and stuff like that. Bigfoot, yeah, but he's not like all hyped up about it. And he goes, I spent years in those forests, Stephen. I never saw a thing. I was in the service. I never saw a thing. I said, Dad, you're in those forests. Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it wasn't watching you. I said, you know those areas much more than I do. And I used to go mushroom hunting with these guys for stews and stuff. And I'll tell you what, something could be watching you and you would never know it. But see, everybody knows that. There's something in the trees. Faye. Now, I've had some experience with Faye, but I really didn't get the concept. I knew gnomes and fairies and stuff like that, but Gemma's the one that really kind of brought all that together for me. That first book's really good. I liked it, and it was just a nice way to make me start realizing, hey, this just might have been what I've been seeing off and on for years. Get to the chopper. Hey, I love that movie. That's one of my favorites. It kind of reminds me about how when you walk into a room and forget what you went for, and if you saw an alien and they wiped your memory, you wouldn't even know it. See, yeah, same difference. I drove 25 miles to get my safety today during business hours just to figure out my registration expired and I couldn't get it. That sucks. That blows. Yeah, I'm trying to do a little bit of everything here. Like I said, I'm just going with the flow, telling little bits in here and there. But yeah, if you think about that, things can happen and you don't even realize it. When I was younger, I think it was fourth grade, had another kid in class. I think they saw things too. I don't remember him much after sixth grade. He was there for some of the elementary, but I'm pretty sure he saw stuff too. I think it bothered him a lot because he wouldn't talk a lot. And there would be times I'd be watching something out on the playground that's following another kid, And it was obvious he was watching it too. And when I approached him about it, he wouldn't talk about it. He didn't want nothing to do with it. And you could tell, I could tell. And I always wondered if he's okay, if he learned to deal with it. Oh, God save the king. Getting old. Feel bad. Man, he is great in the movie Near Dark. That bar scene in Near Dark, he is prime in that movie. I mean, that scene is one of the best scenes in that movie. If you haven't seen Near Dark, I suggest that movie. It's a good vampire movie. Show up the king. Yeah, the theory about owls, right? I mean, other than all the other things, a lot of people associate owls with abductees. That movie Fourth Kind, or is it? Is it the Fourth Kind? It's a good movie. They say it's real, and I think some of it is based on fact. But I don't know. That movie kind of creeped me out because I could see that happening to somebody easy. And Alaska. All kinds of crazy stuff goes on there. But then again, from what I understand, even up in Canada along the Northern Territories, weird stuff goes on up there. It takes a certain person to live there and deal with the weirdness that goes on. But see, that's the thing. I like UFOs. I've seen UFOs. There'll probably be one time in my life where maybe I've got abducted because it was weird. And that was when I was many moons ago when I was young. I think I told it where I was with a church group in Colorado and started walking a dirt road and come back and 5 hours had passed and nobody even noticed I was gone. Yeah, they say it's based on a true story. But when I went to go look for some of it, some of people said it wasn't based on a true story. That was one of those, darky drama movies or whatever. So I'm still kind of on the board on that one. But it's a great movie. I like the movie. There's another movie out about these kids and a family having abductee problems. What was the name of that movie? Dark Skies. That's not a bad movie either. And it didn't get much play either. But it's not a bad movie. If you can survive the Dollar Tree, well, I'll tell you about a General Dollar that I had fun at Wednesday. Stopped a shoplifter. I got tired of it. It was like the third time. No, it was the fourth time that I'd walked in that place and watched shoplifters leaving or running out the door and people chasing them. I'm like, no, I'm done. I finally stopped. I told Gemma, I go, hey, you wouldn't believe the day I had to deal with the poo-poo, and I meant po-po. So I corrected myself and said, I had to deal with some poo-poo and then deal with the po-po. Yes, Dark Skies. Oh, is that a link? Is that actually to the movie Nightmare? Is it? Oh, yeah, it is. There you go. Yeah, Dark Skies. Thank you. That's actually, I like that movie. Somebody keeps telling me to watch, was it called Commune? Yes. Oh, thank you, Nightmare. That's great. That's really cool of you to post those links. Takes you right to the page. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I like those movies. They're not bad movies. For me, the first encounter was a shock, but the second was a complete paradigm shift because of the CAE5. Now, see here, when you start talking that lingo stuff, I've kind of backed off a lot of the UFO stuff And it's not out of this. Sometimes I have to back away from something when I start getting too deep and try to take a better respect, fresh look at it. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing that now with UFOs and all that. A little bit with Bigfoot. I'm just trying to get a new perspective of things. Um, and I've kind of delved back into my love for forbidden history, lost history, whatever you want to call it, ancient history, ancient alien theorists. Though I have my own opinion about that too. Yes, Communion. A lot of people tell me to watch that movie, so I'll probably sit down and watch it. Movies kind of set the scene for what they're planning. Yes, I do agree with that. Somebody told me a long time ago that if they can do it in the movie 2 to 1, they've probably already done it or have been very close of achieving it. Which one's that too? Oh, Signs. Of course, everybody likes Signs. That's a great movie. In fact, I just watched it about a week ago. But see, I like Mel Gibson. But yeah, I like movies like that. I'm a sci-fi guy, but I love my horror movies too. But see, I'm a big Godzilla fan. When they show me Godzilla in real life, I'll be happy. You'll see me standing out in front going, "Go, go, Godzilla." But yeah, I'm a big Godzilla fan. In fact, Godzilla was the first movie monster. No, actually, Frankenstein was the first monster movie I ever saw. Then it was Godzilla. Then I believe it was the Wolfman. Sorry. Then Dracula. Then the Invisible Man. Then Mom finally introduced me to King Kong. And I love the big monsters. Yes, dinosaurs and everything. I'm one of those guys. I'm not much into dinosaurs as I am to the big kaiju. Godzilla is my hero. Yeah, he's mine too. I wouldn't say he's my hero. Actually, my hero. Actually, I'm a big Batman fan too. That's only because my dad had all his Batman comic books. I love the old. Yeah, see now, I like the old B black and whites too. I try to get my son to sit down and watch a couple. Just couldn't do it. The third kind. I don't know. But the older the movie, the more fun I get out of them. I still watch a lot of the old B movies. I just watched Forbidden Planet not too long ago. Or Quartermass movies are good movies. The books are good too. If you haven't read the books, those are good books. Now I have the Go Go Godzilla song in my head. Go Go Godzilla. Oh no, there goes Tokyo. Yeah, I had a blast in Tokyo, especially when they took me to Toho Studios. I was in heaven. I was in heaven. I was like a little kid in a toy shop. um, I actually, when I was younger, I used to have very vivid dreams of giant monsters stomping down cities. So, which ones did you watch? So, well, do you remember the names? But yeah, I had dreams about stuff like that all the time. I have very vivid dreams when I do dream, because you got to remember, on an average, I probably sleep maybe an hour and a half a night if I'm lucky, and even during then, I'm moving 1,000 miles a minute. Oh, good one, good one. Now, what do you think of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? Sean Connery playing him. Isn't that what he played? Yeah, he played Quartermass, didn't he? Oh, cool. I used to know Japanese a little bit because see, I had cousins that lived there Their father, I believe, was half Japanese American. But anyways, he worked for a company that designed scoops for big construction vehicles and stuff like that. It was kind of cool. He was a cool dude too. And you're gonna go through them all. See, some people crack up. I watched the old Tarzan movies. I loved Tarzan. I loved the books, Greystoke. I loved those. Um, they were good books. Um, see, I was a big Sherlock Holmes fan for a while. Read all those books, seen all those movies. I always did like what's his name? Now I can't think of his name. Actually, I like the Hounds of Baskerville, the Hammer version with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. I always liked that one too. I'm trying Basil Rathbone. I liked his versions of Tarzan and Sherlock Holmes. Great writing. Yeah, it is good stuff. And I was big into the Conan books too. Yeah, Basil Rathbone. And it sucks, pardon my mouth, but I miss them showing the old Charlie Chan movies too. Now you can find them on Tubi. I used to be able to find them on Tubi and stuff. But see, I like Charlie Chan too. Those were great, fun movies. See, I was a big detective kid for a while, but I always liked the more spooky stuff when it got a little more. Now, see, here's funny. I was never, I wouldn't say I'm not a big fan of, now I can't think of its name either. I'll forget it. The name can't come out of my head right now. Yes, Johnny Weissmuller was an Olympic swimmer. An amazing one, too. Yes, you can find Charlie Chan on YouTube. I think I watched a bunch of them one time on Amazon. Yes, he did hate. He wasn't fond of the books. He didn't really like them. But they're so good. They made him money. Yes, they did. A lot of money. But yeah. Let's see what's I'm trying to just kind of rumble around, go with the flow. Because I'm really waiting to get home. When I get home and I can get around my stuff, we can have some real good conversation. Because I have all my research in front of me. And maybe learn how to do all this stuff. Hey, Shelley. Yeah, see, now I just turned my son on to H.G. Wells and Jules Verne. So he's like going to town now. Oh, you seen average? My son, now see, he loves the cartoons, but he hated the movie. I couldn't bring myself to watch the movie. Everybody says, "Don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie. It'll blow it for you." But I love the cartoon, the anime. The series was awesome. That's funny too, because see, when I went to Japan, my cousin, when Dragon Ball first started being published in manga, she knew how much I loved martial arts and stuff. She started sending me those, and it was weird when I finally got to see the cartoon come here to America. It's like, yeah. Yeah, see, now when it comes to me, in my youth, my best memories come from the Hammer movies. I loved them all, even the ones that weren't that great. Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, and Pokemon cards. But yeah, I'm a big Hammer guy. I always loved those movies. Um, one of the things I'd like to do when I get home is start buying them up on DVD, Blu-ray, because I had them at one time. but I lived on campus and somebody stole about half my movie collection. So yeah, that kind of sucked. So I have to kind of start over. So me and my son's been working on that. Now I just watched the new Dragon Ball Super movie and I loved it. I'm supposed to be talking about paranoia stuff, and here we are talking about movies and stuff. Paranoia stuff. I'm paranoid. I've seen them all. I'm finally caught up. It was nice to be caught up. Yes, and the first Hammer movie I saw was Christopher Lee's Dracula. And then right after that, I saw the Frankenstein, Peter Cushing Frankenstein. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And Peter Cushing, I mean, a man that dedicated himself to his character. I'll tell you what. You see, I was working on them too. I think I was only missing a few of the movies when they got ripped off. I was so pissed. Yeah, I can't wait to go home because I'm trying to rebuild my Godzillas too. Not, I can't talk tonight. Nightmare, thank you for posting those leaks. That's awesome. Hammer. Are you talking about the movie Hammer? That took you to the movie Hammer. Hammer Films. Are you talking, or were you guys talking about the movie Hammer? I don't know. I'm lost. That ain't hard. I've been lost for years. Yep. 1958, The Horror of Dracula. Yeah, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, they were probably the team of the time. It was like, at that point, that's like in the day when Vincent Price and Peter Lorre and Boris Karloff and all of them made movies together. I mean, those are great flicks. The Vincent Price movies, you can't walk away from those. Those are awesome. In fact, 2 nights ago, wait, last weekend I watched Witch Hunter Gretel. I love that movie. That's a weird movie. Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney was my favorite because they called him the man of 1,000 faces. I think in 4th grade, I did a report on Lon Chaney. The guy was amazing. I'm just trying to read chat here. I don't mean to give dead silence here. See, and see, that's the problem with today's movies. They're recopying stuff. I'm kind of bummed that they're making a bunch. And you can't, I don't forget Bela Lugosi. Poor man. He literally was buried in his costume. When it comes to the Dracula movies, the vampire movies, I like the scary ones. And I don't mind the comedies. I wasn't big on Twilight. But to me, a vampire is, to me, one of the awesome versions of vampires, because the comic books were awesome. And that's, oh my gosh, now I'm having a bad time with names tonight. Where the vampires were in Alaska. Oh my gosh, and the name is on the tip of my tongue. 30 Days a Night. Those books are awesome. That movie kind of gave me the real feel of vampires. Now, see, John Carpenter's Vampire, I didn't mind that. The second one was 30 Days of Night. That's it. 30 Days a Night. Yeah, I love that movie. The second one could have been better if they could have gotten some of the originals from the first, especially her. The books, the graphic novels were awesome. Bloody. Oh, thanks, Mike. I'm just trying to, until I get really home, I'm just kind of going with the flow, seeing what kind of crowd it comes in. Actually, I'm really impressed. I've got 14 people at this late at night. But I also know there's people overseas, over on the other side of the world. The big blue marble. See, I don't talk too good. I hit myself on the chin a couple days ago, and it still looks bad. But yeah, we were talking about movies. See, I get to rambling like Gemma, but I'm not as organized in my rambling as her. Goes to Mars. Now I do like that movie, and it is very underrated. It didn't get the hype it should have gotten. There's a couple of movies out there like that that really didn't get the notoriety they should have gotten. But yeah, I like to go to Mars. In fact, my son likes that movie, and he's not big on that stuff. I can't get my son to watch horror movies. Now my daughters would sit down and watch horror movies all night with me. Not my son. He lasted maybe once in The Exorcist. As soon as she started to turn, he was done. He was out. He didn't want nothing to do with it. Now, see, I went and saw that movie when it first came out. I snuck into the theater and saw it. But then again, that movie really lit a flame in me. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now, because I don't have access to a lot of my stuff being here at the hotel. So I'm just trying to make it, hey, let's hang out for a while until I get to a place where I'm home and can be a little bit more organized. I cannot wear the same clothes over and over again because I didn't want to bring a bunch of stuff with me and then have to haul it all the way back home. It's all in storage. They cleaned it all. I was impressed with all the work they did. But they really did take too long. We should have been home a long time ago. My poor dad's ready. There's how many people here know of Full Moon Pictures? One of my favorite B movie companies in the 80s. They're still making movies now, but they made movies like Subspecies, which is actually one of my favorite vampire movies. There's 3 or 4 of them. I loved, of course, Puppet Master. Now, some of those got kind of flaky, and the new ones are just basically old ones spliced into new ones. It's my fault. Now, see, my oldest daughter, when she was young, the TV premiere of It was on one night when we were watching it for the very first time on television. And she come out of bed just as he picks his head up and smiles out of the sewer. Oh, she freaked out. She won't not go near class. I felt so bad. My ex didn't like that movie. It made her uneasy. I said, well, let's move to Maine, find out. Yeah, my son don't like them. See, my mom was really the one that turned me on to a lot of movies. She was into everything, so I knew about old Fancy Feet. Tim Curry was terrifying. Yes, he was. Daddy Longlegs, good old Fred Astaire, and all them. And then she turned me, because she liked. Here in Ohio, we had a 4:00 movie time on, I believe it's Channel 10, and we had a guy called Flip of the Clown, and at 4:00 he would come on and show a movie for 2 hours, and then the news would come on, and he would show all the classics. And then at midnight we had Fritz the Night Owl, which was awesome because he would, during the week, he would just show movies, regular movies, some good ones, classics. And then on Friday night, he had Chiller Theater. Yes, he did. Yes, he played the devil in Legend. Yes, he did. He said those horns were insane. I was kind of It's a cool movie, but I'm kind of, with Tom Cruise, I'm kind of give and take. The Dark One. The dark one. You have 6 brothers and 3 older sisters. Now, see, my 2 oldest brothers, so I'm from 4 boys. I have, there's, yeah, 4 of us boys. Um, so my dad was happy when one of his sons started having daughters. um, my 2 oldest brothers, they weren't really into to movies. They were more into music. Now, my oldest brother Tim took me to see Montrose. They took me to see, they took me to see Elvis. Um, I saw Pink Floyd, Animals tour. I was young. Um, the actual tour for Animals. Um, gosh, um, who else did I see? Robin Trower and all them. Um, but yeah, they would take me to concerts all the time until Dad and Mom put an end to it. I came home a little fuzzy one night, a little too young to be coming home a little fuzzy. It wasn't on purpose, it was just the air. Pet Cemetery, Salem's Lot. Now, see, I always did like the original Salem's Lot. We'll see how they do with this remake. I believe, aren't they remaking that? And they're remaking Children of the Corn. You know, a movie that I'm having a really hard time finding on DVD. I have it on VHS, and that is Night Flyer. Anybody remember that movie about the vampire that flew the night? I believe he was supposed to be Renfield, who flew the plane. He flew his plane at night, or he'd fly his plane. It was all taped up, and he would stop at night. He'd always stay flying at night. He would never be around when the sun come up. Yeah, it was Night Flyer, and I love that movie. But man, you can't find it. Actually, the guy that played the lead role had a really hard time with that end scene where he kills everybody. Montrose, yes, Sammy. And here's the funny thing: I went to that show, and they freaked out because it was a small venue, and my brothers were pretty close to the stage, and he couldn't believe that these guys brought their 8-year-old. Was 8 or 9, but they couldn't believe they brought their little brother with him. So he made a kind of a um, he kind of made a joke about it, and then we saw him. I saw him again doing his Red Rocker tour, Standing Hampton tour, and I still had when he's no, because when I saw him, I had the blonde, I had the white hair. It was just coming back after the thing, so I was about 12 years old, 13, maybe a little older, but I did have the white, and I still had. It comes and goes. Sometimes I'll shave my head and I'll come back and you'll see white splotches. I'm noticing now my beard's looking more peppered. It's not as white as it used to be. It's changing again. It's weird. Once my dad kept shaving my head after it happened, it never really. I get like spots. Um, oh, you do? Awesome. Yeah, because that's a movie. It's hard to find here. Um, but anyways, um, I went to the Sandy Hampton show, and I paid for good seats, so we were up front. And I yelled, "I saw you when I was a kid, and when you were here in Montrose." And he kind of looked, and I couldn't believe he even heard me. And he come over and looked down. And he goes, "I remember you. You were two guys, weren't you?" I go, "Yeah, my brothers." And he said hi and everything. And then when I saw him with Van Halen at Deer Creek, I believe it's in Indiana, he actually remembered me. I was like, "Holy cow!" But see, Dio was the same way. Ronnie Dio, I met him a couple times, and he remembers names and he remembered people. It was amazing. Oh, really, Vixen? That's wild. I hear you. Steven's kind of lost touch these days. He's still a good writer, but he's lost touch. I'll keep my opinion to myself on that one because he used to be one of my favorite writers. I have all of his books. I used to like Dean Koontz too. The Watchers is a good book. I shaved my head so the white don't show. Well, my hair was turned white when I was 12. And my dad did not like it. He didn't like the situation that happened in. And he did. He shaved my head. Um, then I got to a point where I said, stop doing it. I let it grow out when I went to Japan. It was white. Um, it was starting to grow back white. They all thought I was an albino. Steven Tyler. I don't even want to talk about rock music now because now they're just living off of age. I mean, I can't believe Rolling. Keith Richards is like, holy cow, how are you still alive? Ozzy Osbourne, how are you still alive? But as long as they're putting out good rock and roll, I guess I'm cool. Isn't Aerosmith going to stop? Aren't they going to retire? I thought they said they were going to retire. Oh, really? Cool. I'm just reading chat. I'm sorry. I don't mean to give dead air here. Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I totally agree with you. That's like somebody else that played in Star Wars that's gotten a little too gabby lately. You know, worrying about being your character. Don't worry about politics. Yes, Sammy did see a UFO. Yes, he did. Actually, you all know who Ace Frehley is. He swears an up and down that he's an abductee. And it wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of movie stars that are now admitting that they have seen something. A lot of politicians, too. Jimmy Carter did. With BB King, cool. Yeah, now see, that's another thing. So I like all music. I listen to classical. Now, I couldn't give you names, but if it's good, I'll listen to it. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they were doing one more tour. They don't get along, and then they get along, and then they don't get along. Yeah, it probably did, Vixen. It probably did. You know, you say you would mind an ET landing in the front yard and coming and having a cup of coffee with you, but do you really? We imagine when we came to America and we thought the natives here were savages when they were probably more civilized than us. What aliens would think of us? Probably the same way. But then again, according to ancient alien theorists, they've been coming here for a very long time. And like I said, I have my own opinion about that because I honestly feel, well, my opinion after years of research and looking at biblical texts and all religious texts, that maybe they're the fallen angels that everybody keeps talking about. It's like when I get home, one of the first things I do want to talk about because it's being stirred up again, and that's Nephilim and the giants. I did a lot of research for a lot of people not too long ago before I actually retired from doing research. And I did a lot of research, and I've always been interested because, Godzilla and King Kong, I've always been interested in giants and what this world was really like and what they hid from us and what they are trying to hide from us and bury from us. Because there's a lot out there, folks. And, I always say, not only is that veil thinning, it's lifting now. And people are going to see more and more things that they're not going to believe. And they're going to be woken up to a lot more things that They may not understand and soon will. When you get that big, the arrogance take over. Yeah, unfortunately, it does. For some people, it does. And then you run into people who get big, and you know that's like Canoe Reeves. Canoe. That guy. Everybody, and I know friends that have actually met him and said he's like the sweetest guy you could ever meet. Chuck Norris. I met Chuck Norris. In fact, he sponsored me a while in my day, and he was the sweetest man I ever met. Nicest man, good heart. Now, Steven Seagal, you're talking about a joke, folks. He just liked hurting people. Yes, and actually, you'll find more and more encounters with giants if you really start to dig. That's why I wish I had my notes and all my research, because this history thing. Right now, just so you folks know, my goal is I have a gentleman that I watch, and I don't think he understands some of the stuff that he shows from Telegram because he gets this information is some of the stuff with the research I've done, and there's a way I know it's my research because I tag it. But he has a channel here on YouTube, and I'm trying to I'm going to make contact with him. His stuff, if you watch his video, says that you can. There's no license. He wants you to share the information, but before I do, I want to touch base with him because I like to do is show you a couple of his videos and talk while we're watching them because he's one of the few who are really starting to show some of this stuff a little more at an angle where YouTube is not it's sliding by YouTube. Red Rooster and James. Lincoln Ghost. You know, I live on Lincoln Avenue. I used to live on Electric Avenue, believe it or not. Electric Avenue. I had a past life reading done, and in one I helped aliens build the ancient society of Mesopotamia. Ooh, interesting. That's in it. See, Vixen, you should have came on that night. If you're uncomfortable with being with me and Gemma, if you want to come in and talk to me one night, I'd love to talk. That goes for any of you. If you're interested, you know, I wouldn't plan on having guests, but you know, we can hit a subject that's good and can stay in focus. I would love that. Yep, Eddie Grant. Yeah, I used to make fun because I actually lived on Electric Avenue when that song came out. It was like, hey, I could actually say I live on Electric Avenue. Yep, in Westerville, Ohio. That's when I first got married. And in fact, my first daughter was born there. Was born while we were living there. I have 3 kids, just so you know. I have 3 kids and 6 grandchildren. Son hasn't put out any kids yet. That's okay. Any not at all. Seriously, if you're up to it, Vixen, we'll work something out. You have Gemma's. Actually, if you go to click on my name, my emails is in my contact information on my YouTube thing. So, and if you can't find it, or if you can't find a way to reach me, just yeah, if you got Gemma's, just reach out to Gemma. But I know she really wanted to talk to you too. You really should. If you can make it like on a Monday afternoon, I'd like to have you sitting with me and Gemma if you're up to it. because she was really excited about having you on. The cat, how you doing? Good evening. Well, it depends on where you're at. Good day, good morning, um, good Jupiter rising if you're looking at another from another planet. I'm glad I have a good crowd. 15's good for me. It gives me a chance to break myself into this. 'Cause I'm still getting used to this. I'm still really nervous. I don't have to be nervous when I'm with Gemma because she does all the talking most of the time, anyways. You had a nice shower. It's morning there. Now, where are you from, Kat? You don't have to tell me where you live, just where you're at. So I like to know those things. You know, when I first started showing up in chats, that was always the first question. Where's everybody from? Now, see, I don't do. I do Facebook for Gemma, and I kind of like posting my dragons and stuff. Now I'm into posting wood cabins. I found this one that these people are using pallets to build stuff with. You know, the pallets you store stuff on. Using old pallet wood, and I've seen some amazing stuff, and it's given me some ideas for when I get home. Because I like to do a koi pond out in the backyard for Dad. But I thought we were supposed to be talking about scary things and things that go bumping, and I guess we are a little touching on a little bit of everything. But like I said, until I get home, I just want to make this kind of a fun night. If you want to, I mean, I've actually gone long, and we're going on what 118 here now. So, like I said, I'm not sticking at this late at night. I'm not sticking to time frame. When I start seeing people window out or I start getting pooped, heck, I was thinking about one time actually doing a 24-hour stream. I don't sleep. If you go, oh heck, that'd be kind of cool. Just instead of showing videos for 24 hours and maybe talking in it once in a while, do a live stream for 24 hours. Yeah, Cat, and it's good to see that people use stuff like that. But some of the stuff that these people are building are amazing. I also been posting the stuff about these little owl houses and stuff. Some of those are really cool too. Yeah, I don't know what the deal happened there, um, Vixen, because I would have liked to seen it. Now, see, the first time I streamed with her on SR, I had some problems, but and that was scary. You talking about a scary night? Well, Mister Roberts, you text me during the show. You finally showed up, huh? Your phone wouldn't charge. Yeah, sure. Fine. Be that way. Heard better stories from little kids. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's 120 here too. Yeah, you're in, I believe, Gemini, you are on the same time. What Eastern time? I don't. What now? You don't hit Central Time until you hit Indiana, right, or Illinois. Ghost, can you tell if someone has an attachment without seeing them, i.e., taking over the phone, talking over the phone? No, I'm not that type. Now there are times that I see people in videos and I'm running through chats and stuff and live streams. I do see stuff. No, I see stuff too when Gemma's on. I see stuff around her all the time. Um, but in person, sometimes in pictures. Now I have had really weird moments where I've looked at a picture and said, "Who's this? What's that?" Like, what do you see? And I said, "There's something in that picture right there." And and they don't see it, but I can see it in the picture. And it kind of creeps me. That messes with me because like they should see it. It's right there. It's not like when I see something following somebody. This is so they're holding it. You should be able to see it, but they don't see it. Haha, I'm still enjoying Friday. That Friday's a good day. A lot of people crack up because actually my favorite day of the week is Monday. Because I was workaholic. I was ready to go to work. You're on Pacific time, 10:20 there. So you're out on the West Coast, right? Now, when I went to Tokyo, Japan, oh gosh, the jet lag, the time change messed with me for days. 6:20. Yeah, you're in the morning time. You got your coffee? But yeah, sometimes when it comes to seeing attachments, now Gemma's better at that. Now, see, sometimes I can tell if something's attachment, and sometimes I can't, because there have been times that I've seen someone being followed, like in the store. Like I go to a Kroger's that's close to me, and I'll go in there and I'll see somebody in there, and it's following them. Something's following them. Um, then probably a week or two later, I'll see that person again, and nothing's with them. So either the thing they either got moved on or tea and cigarettes. I thought you were going to say tea and crumpets. I go, you're not in England. Yes, she's had orbs flying around her while she's been on cam. I've seen them too. I've actually, I've seen a male figure, two of them actually, stand behind her a couple times. Not a threat. I think they were protecting her. Working with Japanese oracle cards. Oh, I bet they are an awesome deck. Now, see, sometimes when Gemma does readings, like when I was in chat, I could pick up on stuff. I was picking up on the cards. But now that I'm sitting like beside her in the same stream, I have a little more difficult. I don't know if it's because I just let her do it. But when I was watching her and chat and talking to her, when I was in chat, I was able to pick up on a lot of the stuff that she talked about. You'd see me in chat make comments. But when I started streaming with her, like that one night she had me pick a card for somebody, I was getting it, but it wasn't there. I didn't feel comfortable. It was weird. But see, I'm off and on with that kind of stuff. One day I'm good, and sometimes, yes, her readings are very scary sometimes, and because they're very accurate. I mean, the first reading she ever did for me, she gave me a whole reading and sent it to me, and a lot of it was right on the nose. But there were a couple things I was like, I'm not looking for love right now. I don't think that's going to happen. And then as we got to know each other and she started doing more readings for me, it was like, holy cow, what the heck? And then, of course, I watch her in chat. And then now I'm in her in the stream, she amazes me. I have friends that watch the stream, but they won't come in chat because they're afraid they'll get a reading and they won't know how to take it. I keep trying to tell them, hey, just come in. Come in and say hi. But yeah, she's amazing. Her and there's a couple other people that I've checked out there. It's like, wow. These guys, there's something there. Yeah, because I won't knock her abilities because she's got them. And she picks up on people really well. She really does. Whereas she says her spirit guys, when she's reading, it's her spirit, the people talking. She's just a messenger. Now that I did understand. After streaming with her like the third time for that Wednesday show, I started realizing that she's just giving a message. And she's the person to do it. She can be blunt when she wants to. She hates giving bad news. The other night with Bat Mom made her feel bad, but if she doesn't give the message, it could cause her a problem. A friend gave me an old lamp. Oh yeah, I remember that. I was there. I remember that slow mo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, she always amazed me. Um, I went when I was in my early 20s. I've been to a couple like the side, when you go to the fair and these carnivals. I always try to go in and check out if they have a fortune teller or something. Some of them you can tell is, it's a scam. You're just doing doing an act. And there's been a couple of them. I'm like, you're legit. Now I walked into twice, and I think I told this one last time. Walked into one, and the lady told me I shouldn't be there. And then there was a time I actually went into a shop that had been in our neighborhood for years. It's closed, and then a new one opened up just right down the street. But this lady had been there for years, and I finally said, "Let's go in." So we went in, and we went in. We sat down. She looked at me and says, "Mm-mm, nope." I go, why? Because I paid for mine. I was paying for mine first. And she goes, nope, you can keep your money. I'm not doing you. I go, why? And she goes, you're too special. No. What you need to know is what you need to know. And you'll find out on your own. I can't tell you. But again, she read everybody else. That's happened to me twice. Now, there's a lady up the street from me that's into what Laura Pixie and Gemma's into, the crystals, the Reiki stuff. I want to go and see her. I think it's a lady, and see kind of what the deal is. I like walking into those places because I do get reactions from people. It's amazing. It's weird too. It's like, what do you know? What are you not telling me? If you don't want to tell me anything, why? True, the spirits talk to the cards. Well, some of them talk to the cards, and there are times I know Gemma pulls a card, but she gets now she had to happen the other night where what they're telling her is not really what the card's saying. I went straight to the dumpster. Did I miss? Yeah, I remember that. That lamp thing was, she's done that before. That's not, it's not coming for her. Anybody got any questions? I might as well answer some questions. I'm sure if you had questions, you would ask me. I don't know why I offer. If you've got something to say it. And remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. I'm cool. But please leave them a comment one way. Be respectful. So anybody's got any new movies they'd like to recommend? Now I want to see. There's one I want to. Don't you see? Was it 62? The new one out by where they go in space and come back to Earth, and everybody said that movie was a waste. I actually liked Cowboys versus Aliens. I liked that. That was fun. Actually, the story was taken from a comic book. Uh-oh. Chat's getting quiet. So I'm wondering if it's getting about that time. It has been an hour and a half. I'm impressed. I can't believe I still got 15 people watching. That was a good movie. See, I like Cowboys versus Renfield. Yes, I do want to see Renfield, but I'm being told Nicolas Cage should have been a bigger part of that movie. But I hear it's excellent. I hear it's bloody, which I'm not a gore fan. It takes a lot to gross me out, believe me. Now, see, I like District 9 too. That's another movie that should now is becoming a cult classic. But it's a good movie. I like that movie. You know, that was a movie I really expected a TV series from. I really did. You know, like V. Now, I used to love that series. If anybody remembers V, I think they did a couple remakes. Anyone have any strange experience involving owls? Where is Aunt Edna when you need her? Because I think she did for a long time and still does. Are they really? I would love to see a sequel, but that was a movie I really did expect a TV series, a series out of. Um, you had V, and Alien Nation was a movie that they made a series out of. I kind of liked it. Prometheus was crazy. Now I say I like Prometheus. There could have been much better, and they could have given more details of the engineers. I think the second movie really could have played more into that. And I mean, we get the alien, we get the progression of the actual creature itself, but I wanted to know more about the engineers. Yes, Edna's the woman to talk about owls, and she's had one following her for a while. So, Edna, if you watch the replay of this, know that we were talking about you and owls. Now, see, I like owls. We had a tree that my dad came out to cut down because it was getting old, and when we cut it down, it busted open, and there was baby screech owls in it. I was so bummed, but they all lived. We called these people out. He's um, actually, I think we called the wildlife service, and they sent two people out. They put a box up in a tree real high next to it, and let me hold the babies while they put the box up. Oh, that was so cool. Um, they put them back in the box, and I go, well, we've been touching them, and Mama can touch them. She was there that night looking for them. I was so happy. And then about a week later, we had to go out and block traffic in the street in the middle of the night because she out there. Mom had them out there trying to get them to fly. Watch Bright. Oh, I did watch Bright. I did like that. It was all right. It was basically Alien Nation, and a more interesting version of Alien Nation, kind of the same premise. If she's seeing how she's probably up in space, it's highly possible. Because a lot of people do associate owls with abduction. I can think a lot of that has to do with see, in that movie, The Fourth Kind, they talk about that phenomena of owls and people seeing owls outside the window staring at them. Where actually that was a big thing and still is a big thing in Alaska. I had a snowy owl take a flying squirrel from my window feeder. Yeah, probably people are not going to like me. We had a nice little what they called a mini farm in the neighborhood when I was married, and I had a bird feeder. Well, we had American Kesslers. Turned out we had this big, huge. I hated it. It was a cottonwood tree, and when it shed, it literally looked like it snowed on the ground. We would fill the bird feeder up, and just when the sun's in the right spot, because they come out of this, come out of the sun, they would hide, flying in the sun. And my kids would literally set lawn chairs up on the porch as soon as I'd fill that feeder, and the sparrows would start coming in, whack, whack, whack. My ex-wife got so mad at me. You got to stop doing that. I'm like, they got to eat too. If you want to hear something funny, listen while the adult owls teach the owlets how to hoot. That's entertaining. Actually, I have heard that with the screech owls. It's wild. Actually, I saw something unusual today, which I hadn't seen in Worthington in a long time. Was somebody had hit a fox, a little red fox. It's been a while since I've seen a fox in this area. Now I'm not saying they're not here, just I haven't seen them. And that was the first time. And this was early. This was this morning. I was kind of shocked. I was like, wow. So dead air. No dead air. Now, one of my favorite movies that really, I really enjoy watching over and over again are the Predator movies. Now, I'm not big on the newer ones. Predator 1 and 2 are like, and the ones after that, but I still watch them. Alien versus Predator. I love the Alien movies. To me, the best one is Aliens. Now, see, coyotes have fun with fox. Coyotes have a run, foxes out of all areas. That's what I was told down in Logan. But we still saw plenty of foxes. But there's coyotes down there too. Actually, I had a half breed. Somebody had when my daughter. It was at the house. My ex's sister gave the kids a husky that had one blue eye and one brown eye, but he had really long legs, and he didn't look totally like a husky. And I'm going, this is not a pure blood. She goes, a friend was giving it to me. I thought you got kids with you. Isn't it? We named her Blue, and we took her to the vet, and the vet goes, can I do a DNA test? Turned out she was mixed husky and coyote, and she loved to run. Man, she wasn't afraid to booking. She get off that chain, she was gone. That too bad. The fox is my. Oh yeah, it is. And I don't like seeing that either, especially with animals I don't see a whole lot of. And it just blows. See, I'm into salamanders and toads, frogs, amphibians, reptiles. You know, to me, they're just cool to take care of. Now I'm looking at a Mexican rib salamander, newt that I'd like to get, and they can get huge. In Japan, when I was in Tokyo, they took me to see. They have like we have the little spillways along the road, little runoffs. They have one out in the country, and when they were working on it, they found this huge salamander. I mean, this thing had to have been 100 years old. It had to have been. He was huge. I'd never seen one that big. Well, they took me to see it. That thing was cool. But I'll tell you what, if he'd have bit down on you, he would have crushed your finger. But it was the coolest salamander I'd ever seen. I mean, he was huge. I didn't know they lived that long, but, I had firebelly newts. And they told me, oh, you'll be lucky if they live 4 or 5 years. Man, I had him. I named Godzilla because he got so big, he actually started developing little ribs across the back. How do you know what your spirit animal is? I think mine is a bison. I've always had a fascination with them since my first visit to the U.S. and saw them. Bisons are cool animals. You used to breed newts? Really? I'm looking for firebellies. I could never get mine to breed. I tried, but I kind of just decided maybe it was for the best. But right now I have 3 firebelly toads. Godzilla finally passed, so I want to replace him. He was a fire belly newt, and there's a couple other species I'd like to have, only because they're becoming rare now, and we got to save these things because they are literally environmental warning signs. Oh, really? Is that why you wanted that deck? That's cool. Now, see, I don't. You would have. See, you would have asked Gemma about how, or even Laura, how to find out how you find out your spirit animal. I always thought it was something that you always associated with a lot. It always seemed to come around. Now, yes, I used to have a mud puppy too. Actually, I could take you down to the old Tangy River right here and show you hellbenders. That population's starting to disappear too, and that's sad. Hellbenders are really cool. They're like apoxels, and they can get big too. But yeah, when it comes to spirit animals and questions like that, you really got to ask the ladies that one. I'm so caught up into what I see and things I've experienced, research like giants and some other things. I've researched some things that almost got me in trouble. In fact, it destroyed. They literally destroyed the computer because I got a little too nosy. Um. So, but yeah, I pretty much stick with the things that people question. But a lot of my research started off as biblical research. And I was going to be a minister at one point. And then later, a couple years before I met my wife, my ex-wife, I was actually talking about becoming a monk. Now, if everybody can see Vix in there, see, I don't dwell too much in that stuff. I mean, I've probably done research and just done research. Some research I do that I'm really into, it sticks with me and it stays there. And I've done research for people that didn't stick, but they have all that information. Cool. We don't have any salamanders here, but I did help get a creek protected for them. That's cool. That's cool. Now we have here in Ohio our main salamanders are the Jefferson and the little grays, some spotted. As for newts, they're usually the spotted newts. Some of the what do they call this? The common newt. They're kind of an orange. Oh, excuse me. He may be. That's why I say dragons. See here I'm going to say something. People get so mad when I say this. Godzilla is a dragon. Just because he doesn't have wings, he breathes fire. He's unstoppable. He's got scales and everything. So Godzilla is a form of a dragon. And King Kong, he's the king of Sasquatches. Especially in the new versions of Kong. If you look at him, you can't tell me they didn't model that thing after a Sasquatch. A giant Sasquatch. He stands up like a human. He behaves like a human. So they're the kings of the dragon and Kong Squatch world, as far as I'm concerned. I get a lot of slack about it, but I do have other people say that the same thing. Yep, not all dragons do have wings. Nope. Somebody said, I made a comment. The difference between a wren and a dragon is a wren has 2 legs and his fingers are the wings, and a dragon has 4 legs. I kind of agree with that, and I kind of don't. Yes. Dragons is another thing I have researched. That's why I talk a lot about dragons. Dragons is another thing that maybe we'll discuss because I've done a lot of research on that. I believe they were very real. And I think you're going to find out later that man did walk with dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs that we see in pictures and on television may not actually look, how they say, oh, they got feathers now and stuff like that. You got to remember there are very, very few actual complete skeletal dinosaurs. A lot of it's just bones, and then they go from there. Salamanders, orange salamanders. I used to know what the small orange. Now, see, now you have the small orange salamanders that have like a stripe. Those are your Jefferson salamanders. Yeah, that's another movie doesn't get a whole lot of talk. Is Rain of Fire? That actually is a pretty dragon accurate movie too. Yes, a lot of people do believe that dragons are still with us. Um, some people, I'd like to have. I've seen 3 videos out of China, out of their deep country, of dragons. At a distance, they look fake, but there's two. I would love to actually have the footage just so I can analyze it because those look real. Oh, I'm sure there are. I it's funny because Gemma started getting into Anne Stokes, and I love her fantasy stuff, and her dragons are some of the best. There's other great dragon artists out there, but always did like Anne Stokes. She does some cool stuff. Her decks and her tarot cards are pretty cool. Vixen, if you haven't seen those. I always make fun because I always tell people my favorite movie is Godzilla versus Bambi. If you don't know what I'm talking about, type it in. You'll find it. It's the quickest movie you'll ever see. In fact, I'm surprised somebody hasn't made a meme out of that. Some of my favorite does anybody remember the movie Dragon Slayer? That was one of my favorite movies. In fact, I believe I do have it on VA. I actually think I have it on Blu-ray. Yes, they do. The Welsh and the Scots do believe. Some of them do believe that. Um, you'll find a lot of people in Japan and China, and in the islands believe that too. That they still and in India. I'm noticing more and more footage of so-called giant footage too on YouTube, and stuff I'm seeing looking pretty legit. But like I said, it's hard to tell without having the actual real video. Then you can analyze it. Actually, it is funny, but there's. I had read an article actually not too long ago that this guy was saying that the knights, like that the men didn't kill these dragons, that the giants actually killed the dragons. That actually, Laura has it that a lot of dragon deaths were caused by giants because they didn't agree with each other, and that the Nephilim were going sour anyways. And the giants were going sour anyways, and a lot of the, like just like everything, there's good and bad, but a lot of the good dragons were trying to protect the human race, so the giants started killing them all. I'll have to find that article. See, this is why I wish I had my stuff. Well, the Welsh dragon, yeah, but some people say that Saint George was a giant. We'll never know because there's pictures of him looking big, and then there's pictures of him looking like a regular person. And it's like, I wish I had my papers. Yeah, actually, they're considered there are certain types of dragon that are considered good and certain kind of dragons that are considered bad. A lot of people consider the luck dragon from Never Ending Story because that's what that dragon is. It is considered a luck dragon. Yeah, the church tends to demonize a lot of that stuff, especially the Catholic Church. No offense, Catholics. But yeah, I loved the movie Dragon Slayer. That was one I remember going seeing, and I really enjoyed. And it doesn't get much press every so often. It shows up. Not a great movie, but the dragon is cool. Of course, the only reason I love The Hobbit and the Tolkien stories, but they did an excellent job with Smog in that movie. I was impressed. No, so much. The dragon that Saint George slays is white. That is England. I'm lost. See, I don't have my notes, so I'm kind of playing off. Well, I don't knock any religion. I grew up with most of the people in my neighborhood. So I'm living in the house I grew up in with. Grew up in. There's a St. Michael's Church right at the top of the street. So a lot of the people in the area are Catholic. Catholic school. Been there a couple of times. I like to go check out different churches. I've found Catholic masses interesting. A lot of ritual there. I don't have my dragon book with me. I could tell you if I had my dragon book. I actually have a couple books that gives you kind of detailed of what dragon is what, where they're from. Wow, we're going on 2 o'clock. I must be rambling tonight. I'm glad everybody's having a good time and just hanging. I mean, we're staying at 14 people. I'm impressed. 14, 15 people. I'm happy with that. But then again, I didn't expect a whole lot this late at night, at least here in the States. I just didn't know. I wanted to do a night show because I don't know how many people actually stream unless they're doing video games and stuff. So I figured, well, heck, I'm up. You can see I'm still going strong. I'll probably get off here in a little bit. Because like I said, I'm just right now just playing this until I get home so I can really feel like I'm making the stream worth something. Well, I'm also playing Grounded. Oh, Grounded. See, it sucks because it's really weird. My son brought his PlayStation 5 to the hotel. He gets internet on it. We bought our PlayStation. I have a PlayStation 4. I'm a Sony guy. I mean, I like all consoles, but I was a Sega guy in the day and just kind of stayed in that line. But anyways, here at the hotel, you can't hook the internet up to the PlayStation 4, which really sucks because I had games I wanted to play, and so this is why I'd rather have hard copies. But all of that got packed away, and I didn't grab the ones I wanted. I like my fighting games. I like Mortal Kombat. I grew up playing Mortal Kombat to a degree. I like the fighting games. I loved Injustice, both those games. Mortal Kombat. One of my favorite games was Bloody Fury. Religion. MK3, yes. Those were my games. I was a big Mortal Kombat guy. I loved those games to death. They're evil. They're violent. Fatality. Spell check at me. This is why I don't like text. This is why I don't like text. Oh, there's my doggy. I don't think you can see me. That's my doggy. Oh, Mike's on there again. There's my doggy. Ah, the sun picking up. You can't even. That's a horrible picture. Um, yeah. See, my son played all the Assassin's Creeds. I really like God of War. And that's another game I played. The very first game, all the way up to the new ones. I like God of War. Um, I'm a Doom guy, so I played all the Dooms, and now I'm playing the second Doom. But the fire happened, so I didn't get to finish it. Bloody Roar, that's it. Not Bloody Fury, Bloody Roar. Thank you. Yeah, I like that game. And another game that I always enjoyed playing was Jersey Devil. I was hooked on that game. My daughter was hooked on that game. And Crash Bandicoot. Now we're talking games. Awesome. I'm a Celtic Christian, Mike. We don't demonize anything in nature. It's in our God. Yeah, that's true. Primal Fury, Furry. It's sad because I had the first one and I never got to buy the second one. The original Doom, I loved Doom. Um, the first time I played it on PC. And then when I get my PlayStation 1, that was the first game I bought. And then I bought Duke Nukem. Good old Duke Nukem. And bought Crash. There was another game. I can't think of the name. It was a 2-disc game. And it was kind of cool. You still have yours? Wow. OG Doom CD for PC. I don't even know what happened to mine. See, I bought that. I bought Jersey Devil. My daughter got hooked on that one real fast. Then she got me hooked. And then Spyro. I had to buy me a dragon game, of course. Hey, Chilla Charlie. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock and we're still going. Well, almost 2 o'clock. How you doing, man? We golf once in a while. Oh, that was the other game that I bought was the golf game, Hot Shots. Me and a buddy used to play every night after he got off of work. He'd come over to the house. We'd play for about an hour or two. That movie Doom with The Rock and Carl Urban. I like Carl Urban. He was great as Judge Dredd. I liked him better than Stallone. Stallone's just a popcorn movie, but that movie I would have liked to seen another from. I really think they could have done stuff with that, with him as Dredd. Good eating some soup. Oh, Vixen, Charlie needs some bacon for his soup. Hack the Wi-Fi. It's a better way. Yeah. I take it you watch Mutahar, Some Ordinary Gamers. He's helped me get through some things, get into some stuff, hacking some stuff. He's also his little tutorials and stuff he talks about. So, in fact, he's the one who actually got me involved with the deep web. A lot of people go, "Oh, you shouldn't go in the dark web, deep web." Look, if you go looking for bad, you're going to find it on that. And 2 to 1, it's probably a honeypot. There you go, Charlie. There's your bacon. But yeah. But I loved my games. I like the simple games. Yes. And see, now I liked him as Dredd. He made a movie called Pathfinder. And a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it. Nah, it wasn't. I liked it. It was kind of cool. It was kind of neat to see that. Not Wi-Fi, the Nintendo. I know what you were talking about. I guess Stream now. What is that? Steam. has a hand console now. I think he had one day and he was showing it. He likes to some ordinary gamer. He likes to hack the handhelds. That's what he uses too. Nightmares Linux. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. You know, when I first saw him enter the scene, I wasn't sure that was him, and then I'm like, wait, man, that's Clancy. But yeah, I like that movie. And it didn't, my son didn't care for it. He said he'll watch it. He watched it with me, but I liked it. I actually have that one. And what was the other one? I liked him as Bones in Star Trek. I think he did a pretty good job playing Bones. But I like Urban. He's really good in The Boys. Not what that's one about the superheroes called The Boys or whatever it is. I caught a couple of those. I have a hard time watching like stream shows unless I'm really into it. I can't. I'm not a binge watcher because I get too antsy. I have to get up, and then my mind goes especially during the night. Oops, excuse me here. Sorry about that. Need a drink. Yes, and Priest is a good movie. Actually, the graphic novel is really, really good. And that's another movie I would have liked to see a sequel to. Because they could have done a sequel for that easy if they would have kept that same tone. But we know what happens with sequels. Sometimes you get a good one, but a lot of times you don't. But no, I really did like him as Judge Dredd. For a while there was a rumor that he was going to do a television show of Dredd. But I don't know if it ever happened. Well, it's 2:04. 2 hours is long enough, and I'm starting to get a little wheezy and antsy, I should say. It's nice I don't have to worry about the dog tonight. My son takes him up to his room on Friday, so it makes it nice. He gives me a break. And I figure, well, it's a good time to chill at night then. Because if I was up, he'd be wanting to go out. And I hope everybody had fun. And then I'll see you. I think we are streaming Monday. I think we're going to have a guest with some more UFO pictures. I think it's Chris, the paranormal guy. And Gemma will let me know probably over the weekend. And so if you're around on Monday afternoon, we'll see you then after her video. Because she usually premieres a video. You're getting sleepy. You're getting very sleepy. Nah. Problem is, I'll get off here and I'll pace around for a little bit. And then I'll probably put a movie in. But Giles did bring me down. What game did he bring me down? I'll have to go look. I think it's God of War. To give me something to do because I like play. See, I play a lot of my stuff and games at night because I can't sleep. So that's what I usually do is play video games. Believe it or not, I was playing Fortnite for a while. Yes, thank you all for showing up. I'm glad everybody had a good time. Yeah, we should do a movie night. That would kind of be cool. I'm up for suggestions. Like I said, once I get home, I want to, like every other Friday, do a topic or, have a movie night or just discuss movies, sci-fi and horror movies. One Friday night, talk about nothing but sci-fi movies. And hey, Jules, I didn't sneak in. Have you been listening? That's why you're playing Grounded. But yeah, we can. I'm up for thing, but that's what I want to do is become a little bit more organized, but it's so hard to do a lot of stuff when I'm here at the hotel. I never know what one day is going to bring to an end. And we're getting really close to getting home, so keeping my fingers crossed. Got to get the old man home. He needs to go home. But it was great having everybody here. Oh, and I'm surprised I've had such a good turnout. To me, 15 people is a good turnout. I'm not no Gemma or anything, so. But I want everybody to have a wonderful night, have a good weekend, and hopefully we'll see you Monday afternoon, about noonish. And then Wednesday night, of course, with Gemma for her one card oracle night, her intuitive oracle night. And that's about 7. She's been trying to start a little early. She's been able to, so let's hope that keeps up. Then Thursday nights, I think this Thursday it will be all 3 of us. And then Laura, we try to get Laura have an hour. And I kind of felt bad last night. I had to cut her off at 9. And then I turned around and ended up in Lynn's channel for a little bit because I was restless. But I had an early doctor appointment this morning. And actually, I didn't see the black eye kid today, but I did see some creepy stuff. And then, of course, Friday night with me. And I'll keep up these midnight shows, even if it's just tame like this. And like I said, once I get home and get a little more organized and get back into a good situation, we'll get a rocking. I don't plan on going anywhere. I like to keep this night. And like I said, maybe later on down the road, maybe do a weeknight, a late night weeknight, maybe a Tuesday. We'll see how things go. If not, maybe I'll do a Friday and a Saturday night. I'll leave that up to you guys. Because I know a lot of people, they come home and they're out partying up and want to drink, and people in other countries are bored. So, hey, there's some ding-dongs streaming in America. So you guys have a wonderful night. Be careful leaving the cave. Don't trip on anything. Don't let anything bite you. And I'll see you guys Monday, and if not Monday, Wednesday. Please be safe, be well, treat each other good, and I shall see you guys on the flip side. Sound good? Peace out, guys.